So I want to talk about something real quick that I believe is so vitally important that if you understand this, like deep in your gut, like if you really get this deep down inside, it will completely change the course of your life. Your relationships, your business, every aspect of your world will be different if you can totally and completely understand what I'm about to tell you. Not long ago, I was rereading a book by a guy named Tom Peters. Tom is a phenomenal writer. If you haven't read his stuff, you've got to get it. Just great stuff. This book in particular was called The Circle of Innovation. And it was a great book, but the subtitle is what really stuck out to me. The subtitle was, "You Can't Shrink Your Way to Greatness." And this is an issue that I think is really poisoning our culture right now. This idea that greatness can be achieved through contraction. You know, we see this with these wealth gurus that say, hey, if you want to be financially successful one day, what you need to do is you need to cut out Starbucks and you need to stop traveling and downsize the house and downsize the car. And one day you'll accumulate enough to have some real wealth in your life. And we even see this in, mainstream culture, right? This whole movement that's been glamorized around tiny living. You want to have a tiny house and a tiny car. And when I go on vacation, I'm going to take my tiny suitcase with 1 or 2 items of clothes. And everything is about smallness and contraction and just becoming, smaller in how we live our lives. And the problem with that is, and let me just be clear on something. I believe 100% that whole movement is rooted in very noble and honorable intentions. I totally understand that the intentions behind that are pure, and that they're about, not taking what you don't need and conserving and, being responsible and all of those things, which are fantastic. I got no problem with that. But the problem is it begins to breed this mentality that is totally selfish, where you say, as long as I'm good and this 1-foot circle around me is good and I have what I need right here, then I don't have to worry about anything else. And that is the absolute wrong mentality to have. We live in a world of absolute abundance. You could go out tomorrow and create income, create wealth easier than ever before in history. And so to basically ignore that and say, I'm not going to do that because I have what I need and it's about living a smaller life. What's selfish about that is it's not about you. Yeah, great. You have everything you need. Wonderful. It's about the other people that you could make an impact on and you could help if you had that wealth to help them. And so there are people out there that you can make an impact on if the wealth was in your hands. So if you want to have a tiny home, great, have a tiny home. I want you to have so much wealth that you could buy 20 tiny homes and you could give 19 of them away. I want you to have so much wealth that when you go on vacation, you can call up a few of your friends who can't afford it and say, hey, I got it. You come along with me. I want you to have so much wealth that when you're at the grocery store, you pay for the person in front of you and you pay for the person behind you because you can. I want you to have so much wealth that you are obnoxiously generous, that you are so generous looking for opportunities to give to people all the time because of your abundance. Not that you can go and buy a fleet of Lamborghinis. That's not the purpose of wealth. The purpose of wealth is to make a difference on the lives of people, to make an impact on the world. And you can do that when you have abundance. If your mentality is on being smaller and contracting, you will never have that. You will only have enough to get by, and you'll live in your own little world, and you'll take care of yourself, and you'll never make an impact on other people. And honestly, that's selfish. So if you want to become, as I said before, obnoxiously generous, and you want to really make an impact on people, it helps to have some wealth to do that with. And so I want you to think it's okay. It's okay to have more. It's okay to have abundance as long as you're treating it properly, as long as you're doing things with it that are not all about making yourself more powerful, more great, all of those things that are selfish, as long as you're using that to impact other people, causes, purposes that you care about. That's the purpose of wealth. And so everything that you do, no matter if it's relationships, business, or whatever, stop thinking contraction and start thinking expansion. Start thinking, how can I make this bigger? And not bigger so that you can expand your standard of living, but bigger that you can expand the standard of giving, that you're giving to other people, that you're being generous to other people with the wealth that you've been entrusted. So have an expansion mentality in everything that you do. Don't say, how can we cut back here? Say, how can we expand? How can we have more? How can we create more so that not only can we do the things we want to do, but we can do the things that will help a lot of other people? If you embrace that thinking, if you make this a part of your daily activity, you will see massive changes in the way you operate your business, the way your relationships work. Everything about your life will be different by adopting expansion mentality as opposed to contraction mentality.